Google wants to know what color of underwear you wear. It's a joke, but it's also not. There are microphones in all of your devices, your laptops, your phones, they're all around you. And most people know that Google listens to you as much as they can. It's so common knowledge that even the most anti-conspiracy people know that this is true. I'm sure you've been creeped out by ads that you've seen maybe while you're scrolling on Facebook or on a news article, and you see them on the side. Oh, I was just talking about a trip to Italy. How does it show me flights to Italy? That's crazy. Well, it happens to everyone, and it happens on purpose. And this was even proven by a YouTube video by Michelot. It was a live stream just about this exact point.
Okay, how's it going, everybody? Today I'm going to be doing a live test to see if Google is always listening on your microphone. Okay, this has been in the news just in the last few days a lot because of Mark Zuckerberg. He's been addressing Congress and the Senate in the United States here, answering a lot of questions about user privacy, and particularly one question has been coming up a couple of times, which is whether or not Facebook is always listening with the microphones to better target advertising to you. The question comes up, Mark Zuckerberg says that they don't. Google's not there to answer on their behalf. A lot of people think that Google does because people have that experience sometimes where they're talking about a subject in a room and they're just talking about something, and then suddenly they go online and they search for something, or they're just online browsing around and suddenly advertisements for that subject start popping up. So I've written down a subject that we're going to talk about on a piece of paper. I can't speak it out loud yet because we got to do a test first, but this is the subject we're going to talk about, okay? Now, we're going to go to a few websites and see if we can find any advertisements for this right here. Now, I don't own one of these. Well, I'm going to be searching for, I want to buy some dog toys for my dog, okay? Because I love my dog and he deserves all the best toys in the world. So maybe we can find him some really nice toys for dogs. I think that'd be nice. Maybe some Kongs would be good, or some plush animals for maybe some dog toys near me. Maybe some black or red ones. I don't know what colors dogs care about, but they probably like colored dog toys from time to time. Let's see. A little weasel or something, or a dog bed would be good. Just something he can chew on, dog toys. First website up. Oh my God! It's right there.
That video was filmed on live stream, and he did that to show that there's no hidden tricks, no time difference between it. It's crazy. And if this is your first time seeing it, I'm sure you're pretty shocked as well. I want to remind you that video was filmed 5 years ago, and every year it gets more sophisticated and worse. So I'm sure you're wondering, how much does Google really spy? And why do they want your data? Well, let me start off by saying, no, it's not just to sell you dog toys or trips to Italy. It's not about selling, it's about collecting data on you. First off, let me start off by explaining the type of company that Google and other big tech companies are. There was an article posted in 2019 by The Atlantic where consumers were extremely upset because they found out that their Google Nest Home security devices had hidden microphones inside of them. The mic wasn't listed on spec sheets, and people only found out when Google themselves announced the Google Nest Home now works with voice commands. Oops, they admitted it themselves, and everyone was like, wait, voice commands? Hold on, this thing has a microphone in it? And in response to that, Google casually responded that there was an error and they forgot to mention it. And that seems pretty hard for me to believe, that they forgot to mention that there was a microphone in all of those devices. And it seems like I'm not the only one, because there's plenty of people that were upset as well. The craziest part is it took 2 years for people to find out this information. That means for 2 years they were being spied on without their knowledge. But that happens all the time. As you can see, Google listens to you. They are constantly listening to you. But do they keep what you say? Do they store it? Do they record it? Well, according to an article by Independent, Google voice records and keeps conversations. They even mention in the article that just talking is enough to start the recording. And that article comes from 2020, but it goes back as far as 2015. And personally, I believe it goes much further back than that. It's really scary to think about how much data they're getting on you. But here's the key. They don't care if you consent to this. They don't care if you don't want them taking this data from you, because they're going to take it anyways. And this is proven with the hidden mics, but also in 2017, Quartz posted an article that talked about how Google still tracks your location on Android devices, even if you don't have a SIM card, you haven't opened any applications, and have location services turned off. they can still find your location because the Android software talks with nearby cell towers, and then they can like triangulate on your location and where you are. Google really is evil. They're trying to get as much data as they can as possible. And you have to remember, they don't care about your privacy. This is very clear. I mean, the CEO even said, if you have something you don't want anyone to know, maybe you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. That's from the former CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, and I'm pretty sure you can understand by that Eric Schmidt and Google both do not care about your privacy at all. So that probably brings a burning question in your mind. Why does Google care about me? Why does it care about all of this data? Well, it's not just Google, it's all of big tech. And I want you to stop and think for a second. Google is one of the biggest companies in the world, and their product is free. Facebook is one of the biggest companies in the world, and their product is free. Think about these big tech companies. They offer free services, and they're still the most profitable companies in the world. And that's because you are their product. The data that they collect on you is the product. And so you might be wondering, why is this data on you so valuable? Well, information is power, and they're trying to create a profile on you. They want to know everything about you. And if you have a phone, it can see things like what you like, where you go, who you see, what those people like. It can tell how much money you spend and whether you're a skeptical person or if you believe what you're told. And it can see if you're in a good headspace or not. And they want all this information because they want to manipulate you with it. Facebook even released a study that they did in 2012 where they tried to manipulate the emotions of their users by changing what they would see on their timeline. And they saw that it worked. Forbes posted a great article about it. It's titled, Facebook manipulated 689,003 people, or 3 users' emotions for science. And there's a specific line in that article that says, if there was a week in January 2012 where you were only seeing photos of dead dogs or incredibly cute babies, you may have been part of that study. That's crazy, and I've seen it firsthand. You know, there are some disturbing things on social media, and there's a reason for that. But here's the secret. That study is going on all the time. They said it was a 2012 study. Yeah, I'm sure it was, but they do it every day. They intentionally manipulate the emotions of the users. So you might be wondering, why do they care about making me angry? Well, when someone is emotional, if they're angry, if they're sad, if they're scared, they're easier to manipulate. They can be pushed into agendas because they're thinking emotionally and not logically. And with all of the information gathered on you, they can lead you down a custom rabbit hole and push agendas on you. For example, let's say you're a hypochondriac, you're very afraid of cancer. They can tell this because you constantly search like signs of so-and-so cancer, signs of so-and-so cancer. Then maybe your feed will be filled with stories of people that have cancer, stories like, oh, I felt my lymph node and it was larger, and that's when I found out I had cancer. And I'm sure that would get that person to freak out. But that's the kind of thing that they do for everyone. That's just an example, but they could do that for anyone based off of their custom fears. I like to think of it like Google Maps. You know, everyone has their location. They type in, okay, let's say I want to go to Paris. And then it will, or let's say I want to go to the store, you know, it will show you how you can get there, an individual path. It's like that. Everyone is moving all at the same time. And it can provide a tailored stream of info for you the same way, everyone individual at the same time. They censor the information that you can receive, and they push agendas because they know it shapes your worldview. The information you receive will change how you feel about situations, and it will change the power that you think you have in those situations as well. And that brings on the next question. Why does Google care who I vote for or how I feel about these things? Well, it's not just Google. Like I said, it's big tech. Big tech is in bed with Big Brother. They're working together and they're a surveillance tool of the government. And I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but I recommend that you read this article by Quartz. It was posted in 2017, and it talks about how the origins of Google stem from funding from the NSA and CIA. The CIA and the NSA were very interested in the Silicon Valley. They wanted to have a surveillance state, and they believed in something called birds of a feather. You know, like the saying, birds of a feather flock together. Basically how geese fly in V patterns and sparrows can dive bomb all together and they all stay in a group. It's a predictable pattern. And they predicted that people who have similar interests and beliefs will flock together based off of those, and they can predict how they'll react to life based off of those interests. And so they wanted to find a way to gather all of that data. And now we can see there is a ginormous amount of data being collected on us. It knows all of these things that I mentioned earlier, but it's not like there's a person constantly watching you and all the data. It'd be impossible to process. That's why AI is being made to take all this data and create algorithms, specific paths for all of you. The AI is constantly digesting all of this data for each user and understanding them and creating a path for them. So I'm sure you can understand how concerning that is. I mean, information is power. They're constantly gathering more on you, and they're censoring and changing what you can see. And so with the more information that they collect on you, the more they can predict what you'll do or how you'll feel about things, and they can also use that to manipulate you into what they want. Pause. This is a lot and probably overwhelming. Don't worry if this is your first time hearing all of this information. I know how overwhelming it can be. I know it can seem like we are hopeless, but it's not true. There is a large community of people who care deeply about privacy and freedom. It's great, actually. And there are private alternatives for almost every big tech tool that are not invasive and they care about freedom. And they're also really good. You don't really have to give up your convenience for them. And I have even better news. The form of manipulation that I was talking about only works because the data that they capture is so recent on you. They want the hottest buttons. They want to know what's going on in your life right now. They don't even care about 3 to 4 days ago. So if you can find a way to limit the data that they collect on you, you're literally limiting the power that they have over you. And to do that, you need to start learning about online privacy. You need to educate yourself about getting private and secure online. For example, I mentioned great alternatives. There's great alternatives to Google, like Brave, Firefox, Swisscows, Presearch, and Tor. They're great browsers, and I recommend that you check them out. And this issue is so important. I created a full ebook that I'm giving away for free all about de-Googling your life, getting Google completely out of your life. It's a great tool. You can print it out and share it with everyone. I really recommend you read it because it's very important. All you have to do is click the link in the description to get that de-Google doc and start de-Googling your life. I really believe privacy is the issue of our century. It's not just about closing the bathroom door when you go to the bathroom, but it's about protecting your freedom. The Fourth Amendment was created for a reason, and it's being destroyed by these companies. So please download the ebook and get educated. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. It means a lot. We try to make these videos often and entertaining for you, so thank you very much.